Many of you are curious what kind of mods we can install on EVs like Teslas. Today, I've got Roy, who recently switched from an ICE car to EV. We'll hear his story, what made him switch to a Tesla, and what mods he has installed on his car, and not just the car, but also the accessories around the car. So click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. Roy, welcome to the channel. Can you share with us your story going from a BMW X3, an ICE car, to now your Tesla Model Y in beautiful red, I can see here.
Yep, thanks. We basically have been driving an X3 for about 4 or 5 years, and we always knew the next car, me and my wife knew the next car that we wanted to drive was going to be an EV, right? It's about sustainability, savings on petrol, and really just helping the earth in general. So we looked at cars like Hyundai, Teslas, even your BMW EVs, but nothing really kind of crystallized in our head. And it was only after test driving the Tesla that we decided, wow, this is the car to have. Originally, I felt that it was, too minimalistic inside. There wasn't enough buttons, and I wasn't very convinced. But after the test drive, sold. Yeah,
that's amazing to hear. Now we now see a lot of Teslas on Singapore's roads, and as Roy mentioned, he's not alone. Many people feel that a Tesla can be very minimalist. So the good thing is, you can bring your own mods to the party. So I'm going to be behind the camera as Roy walks us through the exterior mods outside the car, the interior mods inside, and what he has in his home that's also modern.
Let me show you the front side of the car first. I think one of the most important thing that most Tesla owners would say or would tell you is to install what we call a leaf guard. So over here, it's basically an additional guard that goes over the air filter, or the air where the air goes in, because if you notice here, it prevents leaves from actually going in, and if leaves are going in, they would actually get stuck in the air filter inside the car or inside the frunk of the car, and so that will collect over time, and it can cause potential filter issues in the future where you have to clean it all up. With this leaf guard, you just have to clean it externally in that sense. So very important, something that you can buy from AliExpress or Shopee or even Taobao. Next is the auto frunk. So a lot of you may have heard that the frunk can actually open, or the bonnet can actually open, and you may not know that with the Tesla, it's actually manual operated. So voila, it's actually auto opening. I've also installed some lights here, so in the evenings you can see. I've added just a tray here, because the frunk is a great location to actually just put in things that maybe are tapaoing food, putting your drinks here, and even putting your Durans here if you buy Duran, so it doesn't stink the car up. And once you've done it, all right, a simple press of a button and bonnet closes automatically. So the auto frunk, that's something that a lot of owners are looking to get, and this is something I'll definitely recommend as well. The Model Y doesn't come with what we call mud guards. So what I've actually installed, you can see here, are mud guards, additional mud guards, and this helps to prevent gravel, mud, and things from getting stuck and hitting the paintwork of the car at the sides. Similarly at the back, mud guards. So this is something I definitely recommend. If you do go off-road a bit, if you drive around gravel, this is something to think about adding to your car. I'm a cyclist. I go out cycling quite a lot, both with the family and myself. And sometimes you like to carry your bikes on a bike rack, and you can definitely add a bike rack on top of the car. But something simpler and something easier would actually to put a rack behind the boot. And so what I've done is I've actually installed a tow hitch. So this is basically a tow hitch that you can actually purchase. I purchased it from the US, got it shipped over, and got your favorite, or you can get your favorite installer to install the tow hitch. And it's something very easy to install. Your favorite installer can install it quite simply, quite fast, and then you can use a bike rack and put it into the hitch, and you can carry your bikes along. Another part of the external mods I have the car is that I've changed the hubcaps. So these are actually the 19-inch hubcaps, and they usually would come, stock would be grayish color, and I like the black color. It suits the car, the red, And so I purchased it on AliExpress, and you can actually simply just pull it out and install the new ones, which is the black color ones.
I like it a lot. It really accentuates the red in the car.
Yep. And if you notice here, the handles are actually open or actually popping out. So these are what we call the auto-presenting door handles. So really good for sometimes your family members or your friends who may not know how to actually open the Tesla door, where you have to press here and actually pull it out. So these auto-presenting handles are really handy. They open up and pop up just like that. As you walk close to the car, Bluetooth would actually signal to the handles to open, and so you can just pull it like that. Another great thing is that for those who like, there's actually lights. You can't really see, but there's actually nice lights that you can have. You can change it to different colors, and so the color scheme is really up to you, but it suits the car according to your taste.
The lights really pop up at night. So last night when we were filming, you can see this clip of the lights over there. So now we're going to head inside Roy's Model Y and see what other mods he has installed. See you inside.
So as we come into the car, one of the things that I've installed is soft closing doors, right? Soft closing doors. You don't need to slam your door closed. It's great if you have kids because they tend to slam the door. Once you have soft closing doors, you just need to push the door and it closes automatically, right? So similarly, your kids are running around, they like to slam the doors. You just need to tell them, don't slam the doors, just push it close and it will automatically close itself. So really good for that. Another great thing that I've gotten over here, if you see the screen, so when you get a Model Y or Model 3, the screen is actually stuck like that. And sometimes it can actually be quite hard to actually see the features or the speed that comes up here. So what I've done is I've gotten the swivel for the screen, and it allows it to swivel up and down, left and right. And so you're able to see it in a better perspective. If you're driving, you're able to see the information on the screen. If your passenger wants to see things on the screen, they can also turn it to themselves and look at it in greater clarity. So this is something really helpful, and definitely one of the first mods I would recommend getting.
I fully agree. Actually, now in the refresh S and X, the swivel screen comes by default. Go left and right, not up and down. That's really handy.
Another thing I've gotten, as you can see in the screen here, if you look behind the screen, there are two things. So first of all, there are a set of buttons, right? The set of buttons here, these are sexy buttons. They are basically buttons that can help to make things a bit easier. So you can actually program it through an app to, for example, open your glove box, open your car door, to change certain settings in the car. For example, the regeneration percentage. You can change the wiper speed. So all those can be changed using sexy buttons. It's a one-touch button, so I can press the button and the glove box opens. So really easy. So instead of going to the screen and pressing open, so you're going to the screen and pressing the open glove box, I can just press the button instead, which is much simpler and much easier.
I have a question, Roy. With all these mods that are being installed, some new owners will wonder, how do I keep my warranty? Any potential risks or downsides to watch out for?
So I think there's no official rule to this. Certain mods like your sexy buttons, as long as you disconnect it before sending it into the service center, generally I think it should be fine. For some other installation of more for mods which are hard coded or hard installed into the car, those are mods where sometimes they will close one eye if the issue that you're requesting for service for does not touch that particular mod area, right? And so you shouldn't have any problem. If it touches that mod area, then that's something where you may want to dekit or deinstall the mod first before you send it for servicing. Generally, I think based on experience, and this is not a fast rule, based on experience, Tesla Service Center has been quite open to supporting. I think best is that if you do install mods, you have to expect that it may not be supported by warranty.
That's really good practical advice. Mods bring a lot of joy. Just come in with an open mind and understand what are the pros and cons and what additional steps you may need to sometimes take. Something simple like the leaf guard, no issues, right? It's pretty straightforward.
Yep. Another thing I'd like to show you are the ambient lights. So as you can see here, and the dashboard, in front of the dashboard. And even right now, it's a bit bright, but I think we have a clip under the seats, along the console, and the back seats as well. There's some really cool ambient lights that can come on. And right now, you see it's it's a certain color. But if you press over here, you can actually change the color scheme to a color that suits you, and you can actually change it so that it goes according to your music beats. So really, it's up to you to decide how you want to play with your ambient colors, but it does bring joy in a certain sense, especially in the evening when there's a certain color scheme in the car. It does make it a more pleasant driving experience to have ambient lights. So that's something I definitely recommend. If you are a person that likes to have some lights in the car and you don't like it having it so dark in the evenings, ambient lights is a great way to go. Another thing that you see here is the mini dash. I think one of the complaints people have in a Tesla car is that there is no HUD in the front, no dashboard in the front that you can see the speed and see the information. And so this mini dash that I installed allows you to see a bit more information, the speed, whether you're in park mode, drive mode, even the battery lifespan. I love the additional information of the PSI, of the wheels, and the car length in terms of autopilot car length that you have set. So that gives a lot more information than compared to what the screen already has, the Tesla screen already has. And if you want to find some of this information in Tesla screen, you have to click through before you can see it. So I think this complements the big screen very well, and it's nice and small, so it doesn't block the aircon from blowing into you. It's nice and small, and it's below the aircon, so that's really good.
That's a real pro tip, because we had some owners who installed a bigger screen, it blocked the aircon,
Yeah.
and they say cannot. I need to bring back a smaller screen
Yeah.
so that we get our aircon, especially in our climate.
Cool. You gotta keep cool. Another thing I would maybe recommend and definitely ask you to consider would be in-car cam. Now, people may be asking, why should I get an in-car cam when doesn't Tesla already have cameras? And so yes, Tesla already has cameras. It has really great cameras that do record at the sides, at the back. But the only thing I find there's a drawback is the front cameras of a Tesla. The angle of recording tends to be really small. And so I've gotten a black view camera setup, and the black view camera has a really good wide angle. And especially when you want to catch certain moments at the side of your car, imagine in a car park, another car is reversing, it can hit the side of your car, and Tesla cameras wouldn't be able to pick it up, or at least wouldn't be able to pick up the car plate number, whereas a black view camera can definitely do that. So this is something I definitely recommend or you consider installing. It can definitely help in times of need.
There are so many mods that bring so much joy. One thing that make EVs more convenient are home chargers. And here in this home, Roy has also modded his home charger. So let's take a look and give us a walkthrough of what he did. See you outside.
Because I live in a home landed property, I have the ability to install wall charger, and I have done so. So one of the things when you install a wall charger is that you have the ability to actually change the faceplates. So it comes stock standard white, but I wanted to match my car, so I got the red faceplate. And when it was installed, I got the installers to install the red faceplate together with it.
And you look at how clean this installation is. Like, you don't see those trunking cables. It's just by the wall. And this cable is long enough that it can reach Roy's charge port on the other side, even though the car is coming in front end. Can you tell us a bit more about the installation process, who you worked with to make this happen?
Yeah, so there are a variety of installers that Tesla works with and authorizes. I went with KED. I felt they had really good service, and their pricing was very reasonable. So I think one of the key things that they did, and I definitely appreciate it, was to do a recce ahead of time. So they would come down to the house and they would recce, where your electrical points are, and where your switchboards are, and how to trunk the cables to whatever location you want to install the wall charger. And that recce was important in ensuring that my views were heard, and I heard their views, and we came to a good conclusion of where to locate it, how to trunk it, to ensure that it looked clean. If you see behind, this is where you can see the trunking cables, and that's how it looks. So they drilled through the wall. So yeah, very important to ensure that you have a recce ahead of time, as well as during installation day. Be there when the installers are installing. Make sure they're going according to what you agreed on in the recce, and then your setup will be really smooth.
Can you just demonstrate to us how you charge your car, and also how long does it take to charge your car? Is it something you do daily?
Yeah. So very straightforward. Just pull it out. Get the cable. So the cable is about more than 7 meters long. Press the button. Opens the charge port. Put it in, and the lights will blink. And when it turns green, that's charging. So generally, with the wall charger, I usually charge my car about 20-30% onwards, and it takes about 4.5 to 5 hours to charge. So I charge it in the evenings when I go to sleep, and when the next morning when I wake up, it's done.
These ones that you have here are 3-phase, right?
That's correct. So I think up to 22 kilowatts per hour. But of course, for Tesla Model Y right now, it's only 11 kilowatts per hour in terms of input.
And what this also means is that when you install this for your own home, whether it's condo or landed property, it can be used also for other non-Tesla EVs. So we've got friends charging their Kia EV6, their BMW iX using this Tesla wall chargers. Now the good thing about EVs is that even when the car is charging, you can still go in, watch Netflix, turn on the aircon. So we can actually go check out the back seats, and Roy's going to show us a little bit more of some extra mods in his car. So we'll see you back inside.
So here we are in the back seat of the car. And I have young kids, and we go out to have nature walks, go out cycling often. And when we come back to the car, sometimes our feet are muddy. And if you've seen the Tesla Model Y, some areas are carpeted. And the last thing you want is to clean a muddy carpet. So what you can get from places like Taobao or AliExpress are these plastic covers. So you can see here. So this whole area below is actually carpeted. And there are these plastic covers that you can get that's quite seamless to the car. And even here, plastic covers. So it all covers up very nicely. And so if the muddy feet touches it, easy to clean. And even the floor mats, I definitely recommend. These are 3D Max Spider floor mats. They're really good quality floor mats. There are different varieties that they have, but these are the ones that can be cleaned very easily when it becomes muddy.
Thank you so much for showing us all your different mods, Roy. And again, this just goes to show that there's so much we can tailor and customize for our Teslas, for our EVs. You don't have to go all the way to Roy's extent.
Yes.
You can also just take it one step at a time, what works for you.
Pick and choose.
Pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if people had to pick and choose and just install one mod, what would it be for you?
Leaf guard. Okay, I'll tell you my top 3 mods. Leaf guard's very important. All right, ensures that your filters are clean. Swivel screen. I think swivel screen is very helpful. Ensures that your line of sight when you're driving, you don't have to turn so much to look at the information on the screen. And thirdly, auto frunk. Auto frunk, a lot of people say, I don't really use a frunk that often, but when you have auto frunk, you use it more often because it's just so easy to open up and close.
Amazing, very convincing. So when you come to TeslaCon Singapore on 11 November, some of our sponsors will actually share with you some of these accessories like sexy buttons or even some of the hand show mods that you see in Roy's car. There are many other opportunities and possibilities awaiting us as well. So you can actually buy tickets for TeslaCon Singapore or TeslaConSG.com. Come see other owners, mods, talk to them about the experience. Meet Roy over there.
Yep. They'll be sharing by owners, they'll be sharing by mod providers, and that's a great place for you to ask your questions if you're a Tesla owner, if you're a person looking to get a Tesla, or if you're just interested about EVs. So come on down to TeslaCon Singapore, 11th November 2023. We'll see you there.
If you have any questions for Roy and I, please just let us know down in the comments. So you've seen one setup for mods. We're curious to hear, how have you modded your own Teslas? If you found this video useful, please click the like button and hit subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. Thank you so much, Roy.
You're welcome. See ya.